Trying to do my job here, Alex. Not a very good job.
It just looks very suspicious.
Inferno, huh?
Okay, Inferno coming out from FaZe. I mean, that was the third in the list. I said Mirage overpass, that Inferno is where FaZe lies.
Yeah, I think they know Mouse Sports actually can play decent on Mirage. Mouse Sports, I don't know if they've been kind of confident on it recently, but in the past, these guys are all pretty confident.
Okay. The scary part is I feel like the T side for FaZe on Inferno can get bogged down pretty quickly. So that's almost like, I know they've picked it. Ooh, thank you very much, sir. I know they've picked it, but there is an element of danger in that map, I think, for FaZe.
Absolutely.
Hello.
And there goes Mirage again, a third place. That's exactly where it found itself before. They were given the choice between Train and Mirage. I don't think there's any surprises, any eyebrows raised that they opted for Mirage.
I guess Mouse Sports has been struggling on Mirage for a bit because they used to, when I left, I haven't been paying as much attention, but when I left, they were pretty good on Mirage. Okay. Like they were comfortable. Fighting mid control on our T side. I remember they were pretty hard to fight against on mid
I think I would have taken Train still against Mouse Sports just because you saw them struggle against Luminosity on it, at least in the early stages. And yeah, they did come back and beat them, but I mean, you know, there's some weaknesses there. They did eventually find a good T side. I think more that's probably respect because they just watched them beat Astralis on it.
Yeah. That's true, that's true. And I mean, let's not forget that for a long time, I think at one point FaZe was 9-0 on Mirage and only recently started conceding, and I think that was to the likes of SK Gaming. So, I mean, at the moment, it's not fantastic for territory for Mouse Sports in any stretch of the imagination, but that's a third, and it's still going to be really interesting. I want to know, Jordan, you've kind of been back in the dark horse for the majority of this tournament. You've kind of given them a map, you've even given them a series win prediction. But I mean, I'm not saying you're going to predict Mouse Sports to beat FaZe. I'm not going that far. But you know, will we see a genuine? Will they put up more of a fight than we just saw from Fnatic? Is my question.
I think
you can be honest. Let's be candid here.
I actually think FaZe is going to win Nuke.
Yeah. Okay.
I think FaZe will come out and win Nuke, and then I think
it ends badly on the second map.
I think Inferno's second, correct?
That's correct.
So I actually think Mouse, if they play Inferno right, I think that's a great dark horse map. I think Inferno's one of those ones if you know how to step back, not get pushed, and then do the normal map control thing, you have a chance versus anybody if your execs are appropriately done. So I'm gonna give Mouse a little hope on Inferno, and then it's gonna go back away on Mirage.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm thinking 2-1 for
Okay,
FaZe.
giving Mouse some credit there. That's
you go to the map.
Yeah,
what do you make of that, Jason? Yeah, jump in.
Let's put some optimism in the air.
I like it.
Maybe they'll grab it downstairs. I'm up
energy.
here. I'm just trickling it down from the 11th floor on top of Mouse Sports. We'll see.
It's raining optimism.
Yeah, I think FaZe will take this in 2. I think they're a good Nuke team, and I think despite all their issues on their T side of Inferno, I think they're good enough on their CT sides and the amount of skill they have to have just a really, really good half on their CT side.
Very likely. Yeah.
I mean, well, we're coming back in between maps, so let's just kind of dive into that statement you just made about Nuke. Just a little further. FaZe are a good Nuke team. We haven't seen them on Nuke all that much, though, Jason. I mean, where are you getting that statement from? Where are you sourcing that from?
Well, the reason we haven't seen them too much is because most teams in the pro scene don't like playing it. So, I mean, that's been taken away from them, and there's been times where they've challenged teams on it. Earlier on in Nuke's lifetime back in the pool, teams were more willing to play it then, and now they're not willing to mess with it so much.
There's normally no reason to play Astralis or G2 on it. So
it got to that point. Like, you didn't want to play VP. You didn't like. If you take Nuke away from VP, then they just lose. That's been their case all year. Astralis was pretty good on it for some time. North as well. But I mean, this is I think with FaZe you have Guardian, who's a good opper, who's a good mobile opper, who can keep an eye on outside. But the big thing is you have Rain out there, who's, like I said, has been their best player. He's been an anchor at times. Like Rain has been the primary defender outside. He's got good decision making. He's got good aim. He's been racking up the kills. So if you're going at him outside, he's making plays that take 2 of your players or 1 of your players with massive damage onto his second, and then gives his team plenty of opportunity to rotate. And then you have Olaf and Nico elsewhere on the map, and it's
Oh, God, I need to get over this now, because when we start listing CT setups, I'm just like, where would I want to push?
I think Nico plays upper, doesn't he? Olaf plays
like that. Nico, I don't.
It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
It has been a while since
I just know these guys. They veto Cobb all the time. I feel like they give them a couple weeks. I don't know whose decision this is, but I feel like a couple weeks, all those guys would be good at Cobble.
Perhaps the break before the major. They bust out a Cobble in a must-win series.
Oh,
spicy meatball. He's done it.
That sounds really good. That's setting the scene for next year. Yeah. We're jumping into that one, of course. The major is around the corner, but for the end of the year, this is time for Mouse Sports to try and make a bit of a splash here in Cancun. However, it seems like our analysts are giving them some seeds of doubt. I want to quickly remind everyone, by the way, talking of all these players and all the hype and everything at the end of the year, you see this thing in front of us? Jordan, have you seen this fancy little
the tank top, Jordan?
The laptop?
Tank top.
Oh, I was like, the laptop? Was a tank top in front of it. Yeah, I got one myself. I did not get one signed, though, by that many names.
How many names is it? It's all of them. I'm so glad you asked.
I'm hearing from now, everyone at the tournament? Except
Everyone at the tournament.
40 names.
40 names?
Yep. Doing the maths. Quick maths.
I'm hearing update 41. Somehow Tommy put this out.
No, Jordan's like just pulled out a pen sneakily.
I'm still here, guys. Come on.
Yes, guys, every single player at the tournament has signed this, and we're giving it away on Twitter. I'm just a quick reminder of that. It's just at FACEIT, and I think it ends at the end, by the end of December. I can't remember. They'll bring up a graphic at some point. But it's very easy to remember, just at FACEIT. It's a Twitter competition, you'll be able to find it, and you can get that sent to you with every single player at the ECS finals has signed a sexy tank top.
Hey, Alex, I got a quick question.
Yeah, drop it.
When are we going to give away more points?
You know, I'm so glad you asked that, because I have no idea. I've received no word from my magical...
I think if I rub this, we should be able to get a lot. So I'm going to rub it now.
Oh, he's rubbing the magic coconut. Hang on, wait. I'm hearing a magic voice in my ear.
Are we
dropping more points, magic voice? He says... No, but there's a big daddy coming.
Okay, well, that's what the rubbing is for.
Okay, so you've just going to warm up to it. Whatever it's going to be, it's going to be bigger. That's right, we've been dropping FACEIT points all week long.
You're just preheating the oven over there.
Just rub it to make it bigger.
Who preheats ovens? That's a real serious question. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump straight into this one. Jordan, Jason will be back after map 1. It's Nuke. It's where Mouse Sports have found success in the past, but now they go up against FaZe, and so far, it's time to face fact. It's not been easy for any team to deal with them on any map. Right, let's jump in then. Let's kick off our grand final of ECS Season 4.
The ECS Grand Finals welcomes the tantalizing, the succulent, the simply delicious Mouse Sports. Their opponents, the yummy, the savory, the immensely scrumptious FaZe. Both of these teams barreled over their competition, but now they have to face each other in what will surely be the spiciest dish in all of Cancun, Mexico. So ladies, gentlemen, and all other coherent mammals, get ready to see the match of the year. It's really going down.
It is going down. I'm hungry now. I'm really hungry for Counter-Strike, James.
Marvelous. This is... for some reason, I think Henry sits here. Every time he sits here, he turns... I hear my voice twice. He turns up the side tone button, and I have double...
That's very narcissistic,
double bardolph.
Very narcissistic indeed.
Single bardolph is bardolph enough. Grand final time. Mouse Sports come into this. I think it's fair to say at this point they've got nothing to lose because FaZe are the heavy favourite moving into this grand final. So I think that is something that can be a boost of confidence to Mouse Sports. But man like Rops... You know, we've spoken enough about his story coming from just grinding on FACEIT to this point. I've played Rops on FACEIT before. I was playing with Vendetta, and his team beat us, and he took a screenshot, and he tweeted it to me. He found it on his hard drive a few months ago. So I feel like Rops might feel like the pressure's on his shoulders in this particular matchup. But I think Mouse Sports, you know, playing from the point of feeling like you've got nothing to lose could be an advantage for them.
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting if you think about it, because Oscar and Steeko and Rops, obviously Oscar's been around forever, but you know, Oscar sort of reminded everybody that he's really awesome in FPL. So did Steeko. Steeko also came up in FPL, and then Rops is sort of like the king of FPL in that sense as well. So it's kind of cool in that way. You got the storylines there. Either way, yeah, I think Mouse Sports are going to be very happy with just getting into the finals, and it may be that in fact that could just lend them an attitude of there's nothing to lose. You know, boys, we've made it against one of the best teams in the world. We saw Steeko in the interview previously saying we want to play FaZe. We want to be in a grand finals where we have the very best to play against. So if we're able to play our best, we get a true test, and it will mean so much more for us should we actually do the very great task and defeat and topple FaZe in the finals to win the ECS 4 here in Cancun. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, Nuke is going to be an interesting one. Again, I think it was Petar, right, from HLTV, who put out statistics of Mouse Sports' Nuke. But now we get to see if those statistics will hold up versus a stronger team, one of the strongest teams, one of the toughest tests they can have on Nuke, FaZe Clan, of course. I'm very curious to see where this one could go. I think I got the inkling that the desk were feeling 2-0. How do you feel about it?
I think it's 2-0 as well. One thing is that Karrigan, whenever we've seen him lead Nuke teams on Nuke before, he's got a very, I mean, he's just very good at calling, especially with, I mean, obviously we've seen what he's done with FaZe, and I think it just sort of fits the style of calling this kind of a map. They've always had good results on it, even though I feel like FaZe never heavily prepared this map. I think a lot of the very tier 1 teams, obviously this is one of the maps that goes and has the least attention as far as preparation goes, but I always feel like that really helps Karrigan's calling style, because he's very good at playing with very highly individually skilled players and playing that loose style. So I think he's going to feel very comfortable here. Obviously, as you mentioned, with Mousesports and the statistics that they don't have anyone near the caliber of like the super elite teams. There's no one within that in those statistics you mentioned. We don't see North in there. I'm pretty sure we don't see the likes of Astralis. We don't see, well, obviously they did just play Astralis there, but we don't see the likes of SK and FaZe and G2. So some of these like super heavy hitting teams. So this is the true test, the truest of tests for Mousesports. And to be honest, I really feel like they've been playing amazingly well today. I haven't seen them play this well in quite some time.
All the watches on FaZe Clan have been taken off. And maybe, just maybe, they're about to win some more watch money. I'm tongue-tied at the beginning of the Grand Finals. Hopefully that ends soon. I did just have a coffee. Needed some warm temperature for the throat because my asthma is getting a little leery, but we'll see how it holds up. I've, of course, got the roids on the go, so...
I think you should just take everything. Just like go Bane mode, take all of the drugs. You'll die after the cost, but it's it's for a good cause.
No, I'm gonna die in a sea, man. One day, I'll be happy if that happens. I'm not gonna die on a broadcast though. Mousesports will be starting on the CT side. Just looking at their buy, it is mostly Kevlar. Chris J, the only person who hasn't purchased just yet. Karrigan, the grenade man for FaZe Clan. Chris J, is he gonna buy? Is he gonna buy? No, this is the second time we've seen a player leave spawn in Nuke. Once it was the T side, now it's CT side. No investment from Chris J. He's ecoing for AWP.
Right, there it is. Okay, FaZe starting things off with a bang. 3 frags, 4 frags. Everybody's dead. Everyone's on the floor. Oh man, it's like an R&B video. Everyone hitting the floor, and that is a 1-0 start for FaZe. That is a strong start. Typically, we see Mousesports starting on the T side, and they've been showing us that they have a really, really good T side to play with, but they won't get to really go to that. Now it's going to instead be an investigation for us as to how FaZe's T side will really work against the Mousesports team. And I feel like, this has to be a must-win for the Mousesports side. We saw them on Inferno previously today, and I feel like FaZe should absolutely be favored on that one. So much rides on this first map in this finals.
So with Chris J's extra money, he's bought himself a defuse kit with his scout. Now, normally, if you went for, if you bought your Kevlar and your pistol round, you'd need at least 1 kill in order to buy a scout in the next round. But because Chris J didn't buy anything at all, he can get the scout regardless. And the defuse kit will be a bonus. It is a forced buy from the whole team, as one can see. FaZe taking it slow. No smoke grenades in this round for Mousesports. Don't see them so much on the force buy on Nuke. Oscar getting off to a good start, but Rain will ring the bell multiple times, and Oscar goes away.
The door's been opened, and out comes Rain. That's not the person you want to see out of the door, but with FaZe really, I don't think there's really any good options really, is there? So Karrigan will hold the flank with the help of Nico, and there's nothing that Mousesports can do. This has been very successful. Only a 1 from Oscar to really be any sort of response to this push from FaZe. As Chris J will go and save his scout. His namesake, perhaps. I like that he's wearing the Dust 2 beanie.
I could buy a scout. In the UK, I can get a rifle license and buy a scout. Which I considered, but it's one thing I haven't impulse purchased yet, Dan, is a firearms license.
Still time.
Not that you can impulse purchase a firearms license. It does require police interviews and other things. So there won't be a re-aggression from Guardian. No need to lose everything he's carrying to a scout. Chris J can continue with his scout. I'm always disappointed when I see a scout and it's not the blood in the water.
That's a nice one though. But I mean, FaZe also, I like that they just did a really fast hit through the door, because as soon as they get like that first couple players out the door, it just seems like there's no way to stop them on the upper side. And obviously Chris is in a position where he can't really use his scout, which sucks for him. And it's like maybe they're considering a similar approach, or at least threatening such an approach. See all that harassment around the door from Carrigan.
Quickly moving around the outside are FaZe, Rain on the high ground. USP only, again, this is something we've seen a lot on round number 3, when you know your opponents, for the most part, have only USPs themselves. The armor will prevail for Rain. And he can be the most aggressive person. If he dies, there's nothing to be taken by the CT side. No, not even an SMG to help build some money, make a second kill somewhat easier. Not much at all. And you see Stiko, he's got a kill, but still rolling with the USP. Not much else going on. Stiko, one of 2 players from the same nation in this final. Everybody else is from a different country. 9 countries make up this final with 10 players, not including the coaches.
Well, 3-0. FaZe starting well in this finals. Now they have to test the buy of Mousesports, but it's not a particularly impressive one. It will be featuring a lack of AWP and a UMP instead, and a lack of utility to boot as well. So we would expect Mousesports, I think, to try to make some plays early into the round. You want to try to disrupt the opponent's plan here, and FaZe may anticipate this and play slow. I mean, they can really do whatever they want at this point.
Early Molotovs from the CT side to perhaps thwart any fast plays from FaZe. Maybe there was intention. So much smashed glass. So much wasted sand. And that leaves Mousesports with next to no grenades. 2 flashbangs, which at this point probably useful for a post-plant retake if necessary, but one of those 2 flashes has been deployed. So it's all about guns for Mousesports. FaZe, they've got a minute 15 on the clock. And there's still a fair amount of utility for FaZe. A re-aggression into the A site. Stiko dancing around the smoke. In the meantime, Oscar will get traded by Flames. Stiko close to the smoke, punishing, trying to punish the Tracer. It's got much more to do now, but Carrigan with the UMP will put it back into a 2 versus 2. Not expecting Ropsto on the high ground. That's the bomb in a bad situation for Olofmeister.
There is quite a bit of time to work with, though, and you can see that Olof tries to use that time, waits out the smoke, and Mousesports, all they have to do is wait for him to plant this. They are going to be fine with that, just to make it guaranteed that they win the round. Force Olofmeister to plant. You can see they're even going to try to set up the trade by playing 2 players from 1 position, and that is a pretty foolproof way to do it, but Olof actually gets the bomb down. He's going to make his way towards hut. Will he anticipate this? Through the hut window, and spots ahead, but Rops gets the frag. So defuse will come in, and I mean, it's never ideal to concede a bomb plant, but again, you're looking at a situation where you are heavily favored if you do it, so to actually win the round. But you give up some money to your opponents in doing so. And we can see that the money is in a nice place for FaZe. AWP instantly purchased by Guardian and his teammates with full everything. So can't really say the same for Mousesports. They're still looking a little bit weak at the moment on the purchase. A scout for Chris. You don't want to see that.
Look how fast FaZe are moving through this area. They're moving with confidence, trying to break Mousesports immediately. The grenade sails. Grenade appears to do good damage to Rain. Chris J. Lots of structures outside for him to play around. He's got the faster movement of the scouts over the AWP as well. Always nice to get some nice flicks with that. Can be quite a nuisance, potentially maiming FaZe Clan for them to be finished off by other players. Rain and Guardian already taking some damage, so they'll have to be careful now, FaZe. Dropping some smokes. Rain perhaps looking to aggress into the main area. He will at least clear that out quickly and focus on the outside. Still a 5 versus 5. We are in the sub 1 minute mark. More flashes, and perhaps someone's been spotted towards CT spawn, but they can't go after Chris forever. If they can't take him out, they're going to just be losing time in the meantime. Chris J, oh, he's got Rops for support. I was going to say he might be left to his own devices, but Rops now is just using Chris J as bait. This is a disaster for FaZe.
Ooh, there we go. Chris getting some money, some value from that scout after all.